right, guys, what is up? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. We're going to kick off with, again, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We're going to kick off with the experiment here. I'm not going to make you wait. Here we go. This is how it worked. This experiment will start at exactly 8:12 a.m. to replicate the 4:22 a.m. I have a stopwatch that's on the phone as well. We will start right after the stopwatch will start right after I send DM's first message. So myself and Annie did this, and I was recording it, screen recording it as well. I played DM, Annie played BF, and my goal was to see how long it would take to be able to replicate this interaction, which the state has for 2 minutes and 19 seconds, all these text messages. And so I documented everything. Here's my methodology. So Lana will text Annie's phone for the purposes as to complete DM's text to Kaylee. But the way that I did it is that Lana will get out of the message app that says Annie's name and then get back into it before sending the Kaylee text messages. That's exactly what you would have to do in order to text another person. You have to get out of that name that you're texting with, go into a different name. The state says that this texting took, like I said, 2 minutes and 19 seconds with the Bethany DM, and then when DM had texted Kaylee twice. It took us nonstop, as you will see, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then I got out of it. Well, documenting for documental purposes. After I sent the first text message, as you can see here, 8:12, I'm on the phone. I click the button, take the screenshot. Okay. So, and then I'm running the clock. So I say, no one is answering. Then I go and I click on my, as soon as I hit send, I come here and I press the button. Okay. Then I immediately send. I'm really confused right now. It's just, then I got out, went back in to say the Kaylee text, then what's going on. Yeah, dude, WTF. Then Xana was wearing all black. Hold on a second. Does that sound better for you guys? I just changed the mic out. How is that for your pleasure? Audio's good? Perfect. All right, so then the yeah dude with WTF, that's going to be Bethany to Dylan. Xana was wearing all black. Completion. So my phone is going to die. Fuck. Come to my room, run down here. Then I quickly click off, and it took, literally we were just shotgunning these back and forth. There was no waiting. It's all screen recorded, and it took 2 minutes and 47 seconds and 0.3 of a second to do. So to do what they said that they did right here, and as well as me clicking out to be Dylan to send off the Kaylee text, okay, this all took 2 minutes and 47 seconds shotgunning. And these girls were able to do it in 2 minutes and 17 seconds during that period of time. That's 30 seconds beating us. That would mean two things that I've also noticed is I am under some impressions here when I did like he had something over his forehead and little mouth. And I'm wondering if that was talk to text because, well, in 2022, the way that my updates are right now is it would have completely changed this word to something automatically. Like there would have never been this mistake. Okay. I don't know how this even stayed like that. It's super interesting, but there were words that were automatically changing. So it could be because of the version that I have there with my iPhone. But I will say this, what it tells me that in order to do this in 2 minutes and 17 seconds, two things would have had to happen. They're not waiting to answer each other at some points when they're just writing it off. Like how I text people, I don't care if you're responding to me. I'm still in my own mindset and just writing whatever it is that I want to write. I'm not answering what you're writing me. Everybody knows what that's like. So, but to do this 30 seconds faster than what Annie and I did, I mean, there was no waiting. Also, there was like, as soon as you can hear it, because I had us both on the phone, so we can hear when it goes, it makes that little noise that it's like sent, and then you can hear the person receiving it. I mean, there is no delay, none whatsoever. And so like we're not even waiting. It would have been like I have my phone in my hand and I'm texting. So for them to do that in 30 seconds, so this is what I want to tell people out there, is if you think that there's stuff missing in between there, I don't think so. There's not enough time. There is not enough time. There's not even enough time to do what they're saying unless I sit here and I have to keep doing the experiment to get it down so that it would be to the 2 minutes and 19 seconds, 17 seconds. I mean, that's 30 seconds faster than what we did. And I was saying, like, there was no pausing. It was boom, 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 boom. As you can see I slid it over to take the screenshots to show 812, 812, 812, 812. And that was me. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then I got out of the app, got back into the app to say, Kaylee, what's going on? And then this is Bethany responding to I'm really confused right now. Yeah, dude, WTF. You can still see that that's within that minute. Xana was wearing all black. Let me see. I think I want to print something else out. So I wanted to show you guys the experiment off the rip. I have another thing I want to print. For me, what's missing is before it. Okay, here we go. This one's that didn't print. One second. So good morning, everybody. Thank you, Lana. You do good work. I want to show you this other one that I took. This screenshot where I get the whole everything in the picture here. So no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then got out of the app, texted Kaylee, and I said, "What's going on?" And then Bethany responds to, Dylan, yeah, dude, WTF. Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now with the RN. No, it's like ski mask almost. STFU, actually. Like he had something over his forehead and little endy mouth. Like, I'm telling you, that was very difficult to do. Did it a couple different times because I was just letting it come out the way that it would. I could not get it to spell the way that she had it. It kept correcting it. Like, I couldn't do it. So the time that we did it, I let it just go because I didn't want to mess with the timing, like how long it would take me to do the experiment. So I had to just let it be. Bethany, I'm not kidding. Oh, I'm so freaked out. So am I. My phone is going to die. Fuck. All right, then. Come to my room, run down here. And right after she sent and said, here is where we stopped the clock. And literally 2 minutes and 47 seconds. They did it in 2 minutes and 17 seconds, which is 30 seconds faster, which tells me the only way that that's possible is if you have to be, it's almost like a couple of those texts sort of almost becoming like instantaneously together at like when I sent, she sent, like it, but it should show you that you're not responding to what somebody is saying. You're just writing what you want, if that makes sense. I'm not responding. That's a lot of ink for that picture, don't you think? Yeah. So now for anybody out there that's saying that they don't believe that this is the interaction and that if stuff is missing, I'm going to tell you where it's missing. It's not missing in this part, okay? It's missing before it. And I cannot emphasize this enough to say, there's an issue I have with this. If Dylan called Bethany, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie, and they didn't answer between 4:19 and 4:21, why then would you text BF and say no one is answering? She also didn't answer the phone. That's ridiculous. Now, I went back over this, couldn't sleep last night because of, this is just crazy explosive. For the state to say that they are using the 2:10 and 29 second text message that she sent Eric Growler inquiring if he was driving, okay? This would tell me without a doubt that means you had no conversations with your roommates to the point that you didn't know that they got a ride home from Eric Growler, right? Because that conversation would have never happened if I'm inquiring if he's driving, unless I said, hey, are you still driving? Okay. And then therefore, if I did it like that, it would be, I have some information that you're even driving to begin with. I think it's interesting that the state doesn't disclose exactly how that's worded. Also, the state doesn't disclose if Eric Growler responded to this message. Eric Growler said he went to Taco Bell. If you guys remember, he said he went to Taco Bell. So I'm curious, because just because you're driving now, am I inquiring because I want you to pick me up food because I'm drunk and I want some food? Hey, will you go pick me up this and I'll pay you to do that? Like instead of an Uber driver, you're like a DoorDasher. But to sit here and say that you're using this text, because I would believe that during the course of the investigation, they would have asked Dylan, hey, do you remember texting Eric? And if she said no, I texted who? Wait, when? At 2:10? What? I don't remember doing any of that. Okay. For the state to say that they're not using it for the truth of the matter asserted, and they're using it for a timeline, that tells me that I believe that Dylan would have been interviewed and asked about this, and where she's saying that she didn't do it or she doesn't remember doing it, Okay? Because they're not using it for the truth of the matter asserted. They're using it for a timeline. And the timeline is to show that Dylan is awake. That's what they're using it for. And I'm like, interesting. Well, but you're not using it to show that Dylan's home. You're using it to show that she's awake. So there had to be a reason that you're inquiring if this guy is driving, whether it's he's still driving, whether he's driving, period. What I think is missing here is Eric, A, did he respond? B, if he did respond, did she not respond? Because are you trying to show that, okay, she's awake and texting at this point? What does that have anything to do with what's going to then happen here 2 hours later? So these were offered up at for the grand jury where Dylan testified. And again, this all has to do with the timeline, in my opinion, like all of it. But so the argument is that, hey, we want to be able to introduce these messages, and they beat the hearsay exception rules. And then they go on to list. Now, who did I say this to? It was a couple days ago. I had told you guys, if I was to get in a car accident, and I get into a car accident, and then 30 or 40 minutes goes by because I'm dealing with whatever I'm dealing with, and then I text my friend and I say, you're never going to believe this, I just got into a car accident. Or you're never going to believe this, some guy just hit me. Well, did the guy really just hit me right then? Or did the guy hit me 30 or 40 minutes earlier? So, yeah. So, this is their way of saying, we have Dylan awake at 2, 10, and 29 seconds. So instead, it would be offered to show a timeline for the night. DM was awake and texting at 2:19 and 29 seconds. If you're the state, put yourself in their shoes. Why is that important that you need to make that known? I thought she was sleeping. I thought she woke up. I thought she got home at 1:15, 1:30, and that she's really drunk and that she went to sleep. Remember, she originally went to sleep in her room. That's why it says originally. There is no way in hell you can sit here and tell me that these text messages begin at this time without ever speaking to Bethany and having just called her, and she doesn't pick up. None of the other girls pick up. She doesn't call Ethan, which is interesting because it's like, does she not think that Ethan's there? Because is she truly not there? So she's just calling all of her roommates because of maybe something that she knew that was going down wasn't there. Okay, I'm going to call them. Well, hey, no one's answering. Where's Bethany? The same person that didn't answer your phone call, you text one of them to say, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Those would be shotgunned. Then she goes and texts Kaylee, what's going on? Then Bethany just writes, so she doesn't answer the phone, but instead, when she doesn't answer the phone here at 4:19, she's able to text. That tells me that you're in bed laying next to somebody and you're not going to answer the phone. And I'm going to text instead because I'm not going to be on the phone when I'm laying next to somebody who could possibly be sleeping or, whatever. So I don't believe that Bethany was downstairs alone, because when she says, come to my room, run down here. It's like we just shotgunned it. Boom, boom, boom. This, when she says, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. She's telling Dylan that it's better than being alone to come down to, her room, which she still hasn't done yet. And we don't know if she ever did it. Is Bethany going to say, did she ever say in an interview that Dylan never came down to her room? So then what's Dylan doing? But Bethany never says, she never makes it seem like that she's alone. Come down to my room. And then she's like saying either I'm screwed, or people saying, she's saying I'm so scared. Either way, I don't care. The more important text is her saying, I know, but it's better than being alone. She makes it, if Bethany was alone, she would say, I know, but just come down here so we're not both alone. It's like Bethany's with somebody, so just come down here. You won't be alone because we're down here. So I know that the internet's fighting over, is this I'm screwed though, or is it I'm scared? To me, the bigger comment back is that Bethany doesn't answer her phone. Dylan texts her like she's just been talking to her. Like no one's answering. No one is answering. It's like she told her to call, like, I don't know, call them. It's like something was relayed. I don't know if maybe after she dialed her phone up, did Dylan then call her maybe on FaceTime, and then they actually, like, the Facebook app or some type of app, because there had to be some type of conversation that you would say no one is answering, but you're texting that to a person that you just called and they didn't answer. Like, where's your mindset with that? Why didn't you write Kaylee and say no one's answering? Why didn't you write that to Maddie? Why didn't you write that to Xana? You wrote that to Bethany. And that tells me that there would have been communication before this timestamp. And Bethany writes her back instantaneously from the text message, but doesn't answer her phone call. Why? If you're downstairs and you're scared too, why wouldn't you be and you're by yourself? Why wouldn't you have answered her phone call? Any girl that's scared and by themselves would have answered that phone call. That's logic. Common sense. There's no one texting somebody and saying, I don't want to answer because I don't want them to hear my voice. Well, these basically do have timestamps, you guys. That's what the experiment was for. So I'll put this back up for you guys to see. These are your timestamps. The only way that this is possible is to literally shotgun these off. We did the experiment this morning. Where is, in my methodology will, like, this is no different than pain or these guys barking and counting off numbers. Well, at least I have a methodology that, here you go, this is what we did. No one is answering. So this is, instead of being an 8, it said the 8 is for the 4. So it's 4, 4, 4, 4. And, but all this can be done, but to get it into that time frame of 2:17, it took us 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and we did not stop the movements. All the movements were continuous. There's the one. There we go. I'll back out. Now, I want to show you guys what Steve said about this. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to share this screen.
My wife has said from the very beginning when the hopefully the 911 never came out, and if it did come out, at least she would have, be some prepared. She has a counselor, she has people she could talk to. There's certain things that coping mechanisms. So we'd like for the advocate or somebody to kind of let us know what's going on, rather than nothing personal, but having the media tell you is probably not the same as having somebody that that you've learned to have a relationship and you trust and you've worked with. So yeah, we're finding out just like everyone else. So it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And I remember that you had a meeting with them months ago, and I thought they were going to sort of give you guys a heads up when things were going to be released publicly. And I guess that didn't happen in this case, which is unfortunate. Is there anything, Steve, obviously the horror is what stands out to me, but was there anything in the text of the text messages or the call that really struck you?
What struck me is, it's not like Hollywood. It's not a scripted thing. It's not like what you would see on a TV set. That was a raw, emotional breakdown of two girls that were scared for their life.
Okay, so my first thought there is that I've never looked at text messages in my life without like hearing voices, or like if I heard like a voicemail or something like that. But I don't know if he's talking about the text messages. I don't know if he's talking about the 911 call, but I could never look at text messages and ever see that this would be like, there's like emotion. So I don't think at first he's talking about the 911 call. But here you go.
There's part of me that knows that, like how that house was, there's a lot of pranking going on. There's a lot of partying. So there's part of them that was probably thinking, is this a prank? Am I getting messed with? I know for a fact my daughter loved pranking people. So my heart goes out to those two girls.
So this is something that's never been said. He has said that like Kaylee is a jokester and stuff like that. But in terms of like this, he definitely knew about this. Maury was telling Steve stuff. So he definitely knew how I knew about that. There was, the girls had talked about seeing somebody in a mask. This was when they got home though, when they got dropped off. Because the neighbors knew about it. And so
I'd have a hard time if I was one of their parents to have my daughter put through what they've been put through. I mean, we sat 2.5 years on what? Why did this need to be hidden from the public? Why did these girls have to be dragged through all this? These are the type of things that why I do these interviews and why we push back a little bit, because I think a lot of people are questioning right now why this was hidden.
Absolutely. So I don't know who's questioning that this was hidden. I see a lot of people questioning like just what this isn't the story. But maybe he sees people saying, I don't know why this is hidden. I have not seen any comments by anybody in my feeds to say, why was this such a big deal not to be shown? Or the 911 call, I'm assuming. And the 911 call doesn't even make any sense. Clearly, it's being, so I have not seen what he has seen in terms of people saying that why hasn't this been put out there? Why were these girls had to be drugged through? Basically, he's inferring, in my opinion, that if this would have just come out and not made a big to-do about it, then, the girls wouldn't have been drugged for the past couple of years, as everybody would have just seen like this was just so like naturally flowing. They had no idea type, like, I don't know. I completely disagree. I just disagree with that. They had to keep this all under wraps, because if this was to come out earlier, then people in this case, if this would have come out, let's say a couple of days, they're still looking for a suspect, right? Like maybe he just means like after the arrest of Brian Kober. I mean, I don't know where he's wanting this to come out, because there was a gag order immediately after Brian was arrested. So this wasn't going to be able to come out like that. The prosecution wanted this gag order. I don't think there's anything naturally flowing about the fact that if you're scared like this and you're so freaked out, that you wouldn't be calling anybody, just somebody for help. How did anything get cured? Almost like that was my thing, is that let's say I get freaked out in the middle of the night and I think I hear somebody in my house. Okay. I'm eventually going to hear these noises, right? And they're going to stop. Or, okay, I didn't hear anything anymore. So then I just was like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep. But if I'm texting somebody to say, please answer, after I just heard them like screaming and they're not making any noise, like there's no more noise, and, please answer, why wouldn't I just get up out of my bed and go to them? I mean, I can't imagine. I lived in a college house with 5 other girls. There were 6 of us. And if I heard anything remotely to think that it got me to this point, that I would have never left my room to go to their room or the living room, or, if I heard it from the bathroom, wherever, if I'm up and acting like this, like that is not logical. That is not common sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shannon, it's been years and none of this is coming out until now. And now the judge has said that he wants more of this to become public. But Steve makes a good point. I mean, if this had just come out within the first couple of months, maybe it would have been easier on the survivors and the victims' families like the Gonzalez.
No, we didn't hear a word, and my wife has said from the very beginning, when hopefully the 911 never came out, and if it did come out, at least she would have, be some prepared. She has a counselor, she has people she could talk to. There's certain things that coping mechanisms.
100%. I agree. This is absolutely crazy that the family was not notified that this stuff was going to be released. Now, they should have been notified, though, in the terms of there's a website. So when the lawyer starts to talk and he says he's pissed, are you fucking kidding me, Shannon Gray? There is a website. There is a website that tells you what's coming, and they put the text messages. Okay. They put the text messages, and it was sealed at first and had been sealed since the 24th of February. And this came out yesterday. So to sit here and say Shannon Gray, what he's about to say, that he's so pissed, and he's like, why aren't you telling the advocates? Why aren't we getting the, blah, blah. Shannon, you're their lawyer. Okay. I would suggest that if you're this pissed, that you check the docket every day. Okay. Because there's a case summary, and Steve and Christy knew that the girls were texting. It came out in the last suppression hearing that the girls were supposedly texting during the commission of this crime. Okay. But I agree 150% with Christy and Steve. Okay. For them to hear things through the media is bullshit. Is complete bullshit.
So we'd like for the advocate or somebody to kind of let us know what's going on, rather than nothing personal, but having the media tell you is probably not the same as having somebody that, that you've learned to have a relationship and you trust and you've worked with. So yeah, we're finding out just like everyone else. So.
And see, I don't know if I agree with that, because I know that Mallory was 100% telling Steve stuff. Steve knew things. How does Steve know things if they weren't being told things over the course of the time?
It's a bit rough.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And I remember that you had a meeting with them months ago, and I thought they were going to sort of give you guys a heads up when things were going to be released publicly. And I guess that didn't happen in this case, which is unfortunate. Is there anything, Steve, that, I mean, obviously the horror is what stands out to me, but was there anything in the text of the text messages or the call that really struck you?
What struck me is, it's not like Hollywood. It's not a scripted thing. It's not like what you would see on a TV set. That was a raw, emotional breakdown of two girls that were scared for their lives.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure I heard that right, and I did. So he asked them both questions about the text message and the 911 call. And then Steve is saying that that is raw emotional breakdown of two girls. And that's why I believe that he's referring to the text messages, because it just involved the two girls. Okay. The 911 call involved multiple people. So,
there's part of me that knows that, like how that house was, there's a lot of pranking going on. There's a lot of partying.
Just so we're clear, they had never met anybody other than Maddie. They did not know anybody else that was in that house. They had never met anybody before. They had never been to that house before. This is what they've said in other interviews. So this is contradicting to what has been said in the past. They know this house. I would say that he 100% knows his own daughter without a doubt. He 100% knows Maddie without a doubt. He does not know Dylan. He does not know Bethany. He does not know Xana. He does not know Ethan. And if you actually go through social media and what was available, the only thing that he would know about pranking and stuff like that it would have involved this house is anything that Kaylee would have told him. Because the pranking stuff that I see isn't physically at this house. It's in their groups of friends, and it's at sororities, fraternities, and in vehicles. That's what social media shows if you go through their accounts.
So there's part of them that was probably thinking, is this a prank? Am I getting messed with? I know for a fact my daughter loved pranking people. So my heart goes out to those two.
Perfect. Then I would say, if I was Steve here, I'm just actually shocked that they didn't say, hey, are you playing a prank on me? Hey, it's not funny. Knock it off, guys. You're really scaring me. Those are the type of things that I would have been expecting to see in text messages. Hey guys, it's not funny yet. Like it's 4:00 in the morning. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you guys joking around? Like, what's going on? Like, you're really freaking me out. Like, those type of things. Not, please answer me. Are you up? Please answer me. Like, that's it. How can you text, please answer me, the first time? If, like, usually that's something that happens after you do something over and over and over and over and over. So if I had called somebody a bunch of times and then I would text them and say, please answer me, like, why aren't you answering? But if they're just seriously right upstairs, and if I'm seriously at home, like in the same building as them, then I would be able to just go up there myself. Like, it takes 2 seconds. So then you have to start asking yourselves, where are these people when they're doing these text messages? Where truly are they? And based off of the testimony, and that there's only 2 towers, and if you're just going off of cell towers to be able to determine if those girls were truly in that house that night, meaning like DM and Bethany, I want to know more about how they are saying that they're in that house, because it doesn't seem like they're in that house that night. Because none of this is common sense, logic, normal.
Girls, I'd have a hard time if I was one of their parents to have my daughter put through what they've been put through. I mean, we sat 2.5 years on what? You know, why did this need to be hidden from the public? Why did these girls have to be dragged through all this? These are the type of things.
I believe that this was hidden from the public because this isn't normal. Okay, I believe that Dylan and Bethany would have gotten the same. Okay, if people would have seen this back before there was a suspect, you guys, it would have been worse. It would have been worse. No questions asked. None. No questions asked. Also, if this would have come out back then, people could have come forward to say, I was with them, or that's not true. They were with me when that was, you know, people could have come forward that would have known different. And so I just completely disagree that this would have been, that they would have been put through this. If the world would have seen this a week after November 13th, those girls would have been way worse, way worse. That's why they told the people, the public, the girls were downstairs sleeping and they didn't hear anything. That's when everybody thought that Dylan's room was one of the bedrooms and Bethany's rooms was the other bedroom downstairs. It was actually this channel that put out there, and when also got body cam footage to say, listen, Dylan's bedroom was on the second floor. Okay. Why would she ever sleep downstairs if her bedroom's upstairs? Number one, and didn't, you know, on a night like this. And then we put out the body cams just to show that all those fucking kids lied to the police like it's nothing. And it's a big party house. And when you want to talk about DNA and whatever could be in that house, good luck. But these girls, in my opinion, would have gotten way worse had this come out just like they did, like in the same capacity.
Things that, why I do these interviews and why we push back a little bit, because I think a lot of people are questioning right now why this was hidden.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shannon, it's been years and none of this is coming out until now. And now the judge has said that he wants more of this to become public. But Steve makes a good point. I mean, if this had just come out within the first couple of months, maybe it would have been easier on the survivors and the victims' families like the Gonzalez.
I'm just shocked that the thing that's being asked right now, or that's being inferred, is that that somehow this conversation with the stuff that just came out is going immediately into that Bethany and Dylan were just put through something. I don't see how the release of this is putting them through anything. If you guys think that are talking right now, think that this is not a big deal. And it just shows how normal it was. And there's nothing to see here. The language that's being used by Brian Enton here in this conversation is, I mean, when you want to talk about not making sense, that's not making sense. This is what they're calling, this is evidence that was presented to the grand jury. And the grand jury, because it was hearsay and there was a thing that they had to get around and to show, and they wanted it to be used as truth of some stuff as timelines, but other things as utterances. And because guess what? Dylan is saying things like, I don't remember having those text messages. I don't remember texting. I don't remember that. And that's where I think the frozen shock phase is coming in, is because I believe when Dylan's on the stand, she's going to be saying things like, I don't remember texting any of that. I don't remember that. And that is why they need to use it as the utterance, and they need to get it through the exception rules, because Dylan cannot testify to it and has never said, it probably has actually said in interviews that she does not recall doing any of that. That is why you would need to do this. Otherwise, Dylan and Bethany would be testifying to their text messages, and they would both be authenticating that, yes, I was at home when I sent that. Yes, I sent it to her. And then Bethany saying it back, you know what I mean? And we sent that at the time of the time that it was occurring. Like there's no waiting, but that's not what's happening that's not what you're I will be shocked that that's going to be the testimony. Okay. What I see here is that you're going to have a lot of, I don't remember that. I don't know if I was dreaming. I don't remember saying. That's what you're going to have. And they're doing this because they need to introduce it this way for the timeline purposes, because they're saying that that's when the time of the crime happened. But yet your witnesses are saying, they're going to say, I don't remember any. I don't remember. But this interview makes no sense to me by saying that it's like this getting out here is putting them through something. And it's like, I was told that there was grand jurors that spoke to Steve Gonsalves and told them what these girls said, and stuff was like leaked that way. And so none of this would be news to Steve Gonsalves. And the grand jury was a couple years ago. And the reason that the defense is pushing back so hard is because it was the defense moved for a motion to dismiss back a couple years ago, year and a half ago, based on everything that was done with this grand jury being improper, inadmissible evidence, just you name it. They had, 13 to 21 markings of the stuff that they're saying that went on with this grand jury. They're using inadmissible evidence. The list goes on. Prosecutorial misconduct. And it made it through because they were using the utterance exception rule for hearsay. And because Judge is saying that there was no time to fabricate these messages. They had to have been happening in real time. That was his ruling. Okay. Well, the defense, in a recent motion that they just dropped, they clearly are saying to everybody, hey, hold the door. We want to make sure everybody knows this. So I highlighted it for everybody to see. That the facts in this case are highly, highly disputed. Okay. And so I want to show you guys just really quick this. All right, here we'll go right back to it and you move in. This is a case where the facts are in great dispute. Mr. Colbert asserts his innocence. There is no confession. There is no video or audio of the crime. There is no weapon. There is only trace evidence on a movable object, a knife sheath. All of this, one of the experts that Brian Colbert has retained is a expert in staging of crime scenes. Okay? Staging of crime scenes. The defense doesn't buy any of this, just letting you know. Something is off.
Yeah, I mean, the prosecution's choice in keeping everything under wraps has been a decision that they've made from the get-go. They haven't wavered from it in any way. That being said, I I mean, for lack of a better term, I'm just pissed. Common decency should have the Latah County prosecutor's office and the victims advocates contact myself and the victims' families and let them know some of the stuff that's coming down and is being.
Do you understand what he just said as a lawyer right there? That he is pissed because the prosecutors aren't communicating with them. There is a gag order. There is a gag order. There is stuff that they file that's under seal. There's a protective order. What is this man talking about? The only thing that I'd be pissed off if I was Steve Gonsalves to say, hey, I guess I'll just start checking the docket every day and then I'll ask you what this could potentially be about. And then you can tell me. But to say that they had no idea that this was coming, these were filed February 24th, and Hippler, a couple of days ago, I think it was last week, he had specifically said that there's going to be no more sealing in this case, and he was going to be unsealing stuff. And so I don't know what they want. I mean, they would get in trouble. The prosecution would get in trouble. Can you imagine what would happen if Bill Thompson called up and had a conversation with Steve, or that would have to be recorded. They would have to make a police report of that. Steve Gonsalves is a witness in this case. I can't believe he's saying this.
Being filed, so they're not just surprised by it, and just have a really just honest conversation with us about it. But none of that happens, and I'm frustrated and I'm pissed for myself and the family that I don't have a chance to explain those things to them, to give them a little bit of a heads up on, hey, these motions are filed this way, and they may or may not be successful. If it is successful, who cares?
What do you mean? See, this is how I know that you're lying. Steve, come over to my channel every day. You can know what's going on. Like, this pisses me off for them because this stuff has been out there. This has been known that this was coming. This was filed last fucking week. This was whenever February 24th was. When was February 24th? Whatever that day is, that's when this shit was filed. And there might be a chance it was filed February 21st, but that they did the sealing on the 24th. Okay? And I feel for Chrissy and Steve. I do. I feel for all the parents. All right, Steve had to be out there in front of a camera every single day. There's a reason for that. I don't think that Steve trusted the stories that he was getting. When he said that people were cleared too soon, him and his wife said that people were cleared too soon. People were cleared too soon. What's their alibi? They had a strong alibi. What's their alibi? Who the heck do you think that you would truly be thinking and talking about here? I personally believe that Steve has no choice but to go out and advocate for the roommates. Okay? But none of this is normal. None of this is normal. Okay? If my son's roommates did this, I would just want to ask them what happened before? My daughter gets home at 2. What happened? Where were you? You're texting to get a ride at 2:10, or you're looking to see if somebody's still driving. When I talked to Steve, he had never talked to the roommates. The roommates never reached out to Steve and Christy. And I can't imagine that my roommates would never have reached out to my parents. The state can't tell you that you can't talk to people, just so we're clear about that. Day one of this investigation, unless a lawyer told you, like, listen, as much as you want to say whatever, unless these two got lawyers, at any point they would have gotten a lawyer, like, hey, you just, no. And I personally believe that they were, because they stayed away from the media completely. Like, nobody could talk to them, and nobody was taking pictures of them and knowing where they were. But this isn't normal. And if this is how these girls were living every single day, with like the way this whole alleged pranking was going on, with people with knives and masks, machetes. There are pictures with them with machetes, you guys, not just a knife, machetes. Girls dressing up for Halloween in bloody messes, not slutty puppies like you would normally see college girls do. I mean, if you look at these people's social medias, it's very disturbing. Animals, guts and stuff on in their skulls, on people's porches and shit like that. Notice how that shit all stopped. Think about that. Think about this. You're going to sit here and tell me that the type of activities that they were doing and how they so-called had fun with each other and drinking and playing these prank games and chasing people with knives and masks and going up and scaring people and spooking them at night. Okay. Think about that. So then it's like, it's almost foreshadowing what is about to happen in that home. And it happens. And you're going to sit here and tell me that a guy from Pennsylvania who has, what we're going to get into right now is the motion of limine that was filed when they just disclosed that Brian is on the spectrum and has autism. Because I want to talk about that. It's like, out of all the people that Brian Culver could have became a serial killer in his first kill, he finds this house where these people are engaging in activities that are pranking in the terms of wearing masks and chasing each other with knives and stabbing and killing of animals and putting them on each other's doorsteps and thinking that's funny. And those would be the same people that were brutally then stabbed and murdered in their home. Like, wait, what? By a complete stranger, but done the same way that they all joke around with each other. Something's off there, guys.
Years, it's not, doesn't affect the case in some way, or my opinion on whether or not those motions might be filed and or might be successful or not. But it's just really, really frustrating. And I know Steve and Christy are frustrated by it, but I'm the one that gets to say, I'm pissed, and I'm pissed for everybody. So.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they can't give you the documents ahead of time, it seems like they could at least give you a heads up to tell the family, hey.
Brian Enton, come on, man. I can't even believe it. You had them for a conversation and then this is what you do with it. Okay. Because there is all this time for a heads up, guys. There is a case interest page. www.Idaho case of interest. There's 3 cases on there. One is Brian Culver. You click every single day. And this isn't, they know this. They all know this. This was not surprise ambush with any of this breaking. It's just, that is not true. That is a misrepresentation of the facts. This has been sitting in the case summary for 2 weeks. So and that's exactly what the courts would say, and that's exactly what the prosecution would say. You want us to call you up and say, hey, there was a filing today? We can't tell you about the filing. Like, what do you, like, that's just like someone saying, that's wild, man. Like, that you're even.
Maybe don't watch the news for an hour, give me a second to go through these and call you. It's.
That, and yeah, 2 weeks they had all that. I just, that's unfortunate.
Seems like that would be a sort of a decent thing to do. Steve, what do you make of this latest motion where they're trying to ban words from coming out during trial? I mean, simple words like that are part of the case: murder, bushy eyebrows, sociopath, psychopath.
They're not trying to ban those words, Brian Etten. Okay. They said you're not going to refer to our client in front of the jury as a sociopath, as a psychopath, as a murderer, and nor are your witnesses when they testify. Read the document.
Did this come as a surprise, Steve?
Yeah, I thought they'd have a sadistic on there from the profile that I know that they've made of him. Some of the websites that he's been to.
Boom. Right here, contradicting everything he says, that he doesn't know anything. He's in the dark. I know that they did a profile on him and they used the words sadistic to, I'm surprised sadistic isn't on there because I know I've seen the profile. He's seen the FBI BAU profile on Brian Kohberger. The defense hasn't even seen that. I bet you Ann Taylor's like, well, I would love to see that. Then to say, the next part is to say, what you just said right there, is he's now giving his hand away to say that you are and have been in possession and know you are in the know. So everything you just said 2 minutes ago is now completely contradicted with this statement.
I thought they'd have a sadistic on there from the profile that I know that they've made of him. Some of the websites that he's been to.
How does he know about any of the websites that Brian Kohberger has been to? That tells me that if that's true, then what you just said 2 minutes ago cannot be true. Is this propaganda to come out and act like you don't know things that you actually do know because the defense is going to pull a Karen Reed type situation and talk about Steve Gonsalves's many interviews that he's done with the police, or not with the police, but about the police during the investigation, and then after the fact and the stuff that you knew.
That was a one that rated really high with him. So I'm a little surprised they didn't put that word on there. But when you're super desperate, you really have nothing, you attack words and simple things like that. I mean, they're really done. I mean, their client has left so much evidence that they've got to attack words. So I guess it's a sign.
I want the evidence that Steve Gonsalves has. And I hope it comes out in this trial, because I want justice for his daughter. I want justice for Maddie. I want justice for Ethan. And I want justice for Xana. And I hope for their sake that Steve's accurate here and that they have all of this evidence. Okay. But to date, what's in the record and in the public eye, it is a circumstantial case. It's essentially a circumstantial case, and the defense says it like this. As such, the contents of all the 67 electronic devices, digital data, and search warrant returns seized in this case contain enough information to paint a portrait of the daily lives of Mr. Kohberger, the victims, witnesses, alternate suspects, and people close to the victims. Given that the state's case is almost entirely circumstantial, patterns of evidence that emerge out of these devices may be key to the jury's consideration of guilt or innocence. And this has to do with why they were asking for a court order for certain things that I'll be talking about. But this is in no way, shape, or form he's about to talk about. He says, I hope the prosecution doesn't get weak, because he says what's next. Steve is basically forecasting that Brian Kohberger and his defense team are going to try to get a plea deal Well, I hate to say this since Steve does not get informed by his attorney of the docket. In the latest filing on March 5th, 2025, Brian Koberger has never confessed. Brian Koberger maintains his innocence. Okay. And his defense team is highly questioning and is highly disputing the facts that the state is trying and will try to allege are facts in this case. And it's in the most recent filing, defendant's motion to preclude the death penalty and adopt other necessary procedures due to the state's numerous disclosure violations.
A sign of what's to come, and hopefully the state, the prosecution, strong enough to see this all the way through and not give in to the desperation that's about to come and the plea deals that they're going to try to negotiate for.
Thanks. And that's propaganda. That's unfortunately propaganda. That's not coming. So right there at the end, I mean, again, I personally think that these are opportunities to, this is all, you know, they're allowed to do this. They're allowed to say what they want, but I think that this is affecting, you know, hey, we got to get in front of this with all the texting that just came out. It's bad. He knows it's bad. It makes, nobody is out there saying, oh, I feel so bad for Dylan and Bethany. Okay. Nobody's out there that are going to read that. No one in a courtroom, they're going to have so many questions about this and say, why didn't you call 911 then? And then how about this? What I think is even worse is in the morning. Okay. There's nothing to be afraid of at 10:30 in the morning. Why wouldn't you be getting up out of your bed, going over to their rooms, going upstairs? You know, it looks like you knew what happened, okay? And it looks like you're trying to make it seem like you don't know what happened, and it looks like Bethany and Dylan are associating the activities that took place with people that they know. This 911 call, I don't even have words for it. It's horrible. And not the terms of like, you have a dispatch who is literally asking for educated adults, young adults, the simplest of questions, which is, and they can't answer. In fact, they try to tell a story. You know, who is telling on a 911 call and not rendering get help over here? They knew that they were so long gone from that help. They were dead. They were dead. Okay. They were dead. They knew that. But they want to tell a story on a 911 call. You guys think of all the cases that you cover, and everybody dissects a 911 call. The state knows that Ann Taylor's going to push back on some stuff. So here, the statements made on the 911 call are admissible regardless of whether or not witnesses testify. Okay? So the question here is I think they don't know who some of these people are. Why wouldn't the people that went to that home be testifying? Isn't that wild? That there would even be a thought that anybody that would have went to that house wouldn't have be called. Shit, in the Karen Reed case, you have people that are testifying to sitting in a home because they were there drinking. the night before a body is found on the lawn. Under IRE 803, present sense impressions and excited utterances are admissible whether or not the declarant is available as a witness. And I think what Anne wants to fight back with on that is to say, I want to cross-examine the person. I want to ask them questions like, hey, so when you arrived, did it seem like everybody else had just found the body as you found the body? How could somebody tell a 911 officer about a story about the night before? Like, when would anybody have time to divulge a story if Emily was just called at 11:55 by Dylan's phone? Or 11:50 rather, 11:50 and 58 seconds. And the 911 call was at 11:56. So any statement found outside of the above exceptions to hearsay are non-testimonial for purposes of the Crawford. Sure, awesome. But I hope you guys are going to know who these people are. So I can't believe that this is how this would have went down. 911, what's your emergency? Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what we have. And then here, Chief Fry, this is proving Chief Fry is a liar. If you're going to say that this, in fact, was Bethany, the woman who, it's her phone, right? So we've determined that this is Bethany. It's her phone. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. We have, what is the address of the emergency? 1122. And then someone says, no, don't. I think it's either going to be like, no, don't touch the body. No, don't give the, like, who's the no, don't? I think she's like talking to somebody else, saying like, no, don't. So we have to ask, when you run that 911 call and you hear yourself say, no, don't, who are you talking to? Dispatch says, what is the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Super interesting there that it would be an S, Kings. I want to really hear her say Kings Road. You don't know the name of your street? Kings? You guys, that's not normal. Oh, Kings Road. Okay, and is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right? And then A1 takes over the phone. A1 is a woman who we believe is Emily. A1 says, I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. Perfect. And what's the phone number that you were calling from? Then she has to ask, what's your phone number to Bethany? Bethany just sitting there gives the first three probably. Then Emily tells dispatch, because, hey, what's your phone number? Da-da-da, hey, and then she repeats it. And then she says the rest of it. And then she says, what's the rest? And then Bethany gives the rest of it, and then she repeats it. Dispatch. Okay, and tell me exactly what's going on. Emily. This is what we were told. This is what we were told back. JLR was told it. I was told it. Chronicles of Olivia was told this. Who else? Anyways. Emily says, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. So saying that Xana is drunk or was drunk last night and now so how they lie. Remember when she came to the door and opened it on the videos that I showed the nights of the noise complaint, the one night, and Emily looks like she could be a spitting image of Bethany and vice versa. All right. So remember, she opens up the door. Oh, I'll go get one of them. Oh, I'll go get someone. And then the boys come downstairs and they're like, yeah, nobody's here that lives here. Okay, remember that? That's who the Emily is, just so you guys are aware. So Emily says, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. This is how everything was led to be a person is passed out. Now, if this house is as bloody as they say, and these victims have been stabbed multiple times, you would think, and if they've been dead since 4 o'clock in the morning, how blue would Xana be? If Xana's on the floor and you go to like tap her, then you're gonna where I think the no don't, where she say that? No, don't. I believe Bethany's telling somebody, no, don't touch her. Okay. I believe that Xana was face down and her face that she's not like laying on her back. Anyways. So then after Emily says this, then here is Bethany. No, we saw. No. So she's talking to dispatch. One of our roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up, then right after it, or it's the next thing that's heard is, no, we saw. Dispatch says, okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night? Yeah. This is what Steve Gonsalves thinks is not scripted and total shock and horror. We saw. Because she's like, no. So she's saying no to this. No, we saw. Wait, what? And then she's saying, oh, she knows what she's already referring to. So clearly, Emily girl has already been talked to and informed things, right? So how the hell can you say that there was no time for planning and this was just utterance? And no, absolutely not. Not when Emily says, oh, and we saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Or I'm sorry, they saw some man in their house. That would mean nowhere in this 911 call was that disclosed. So Emily was told that prior to, and that couldn't be then utterance. What the fuck, man? And this is, I'm telling you what Texter after the murders, Murphy is barking his head off, and DM just walks down to BF's room. That's the person I want having my back. Criminal Minds, that's what DM watches. So then, moving on. Dispatch. Or I'm sorry. After Emily tries to say like, oh yeah, they saw somebody at their house. Yeah. Then Bethany takes the phone back. So again, Chief Fry lying his ass off. Okay. Lying his ass off. Hi. Back to Bethany here, who we believe is Bethany. Hi. ... And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. So you're going to be able to tell when you're listening to this that this is a different voice. This is a different voice. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What? Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? How do you know what happened? Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? How does Bethany know what happened? This is why Ann Taylor is claiming that Bethany has exculpatory evidence for Brian Kober. And everybody's been shutting her up. This is crazy. Bethany has exculpatory evidence. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? Answer. I don't really know. What? I don't really know. But pretty much at 4 a.m., you guys, do you understand how gruesome this scene was? Where is this 911 call truly taking place? Is it inside the house? Because I went ahead and did a little bit of research and looked up a case that the defense is citing where you're questioning the location of the 911 call. Boom! There's a case that questions where the 911 call. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? There's nobody screaming. There's nobody doing, I mean, did these people like just come over and come to the front door, go to Bethany's room? Dylan's down there. So Dylan and Bethany are down there. The friends come to the front door. They go into Dylan and Bethany's room, or Bethany's room rather. They have these conversations down there. Nobody goes upstairs yet, right? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know. I don't really know. I guess it's supposed to be from the person that called the female, who we believe is Bethany. I don't really know. But pretty much at 4 a.m., question. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that? Can you find that out? Answer from the same person. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We gotta go check. I want you to picture this now. Bethany, and they're downstairs on the first level. They haven't even gone upstairs yet. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. Let's go. Or we gotta go check. So she's taking somebody with her. We gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? They're attributing all of this to somebody, the same person, in this. So what this seems like to me is that if I'm on the first floor, yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check. I grab somebody. I start walking upstairs, but we have to, because the person that's saying they're like making some type of adjustment. No, I'm not going. Or like, no way. But we have to. And then as we're going upstairs, I'm saying this to somebody else who's up there. Is she passed out? And then I say to the dispatch, she's passed out. And then I say to the person that's by Xana, what's wrong? Question. Dispatching Moscow Law Ambulance 4. Answer. She's not waking up. Now, I want to rewind this all now for you. Picture calling on the first level. You're not around any blood. You haven't seen anything. Okay, you're just on the first level. You summon your friends over, and they're coming into your room, which is on the first level. Okay, they're all in your bedroom. Somebody tells somebody you have to call 911. Because if you don't go upstairs yet, why are you calling 911? There's no reason to call 911 if you didn't go upstairs yet. If you don't know anything, there's no reason to call 911 if you haven't gone upstairs yet. So if Hunter Johnson's going to testify and say, I went up there and I screamed down and said, somebody call 911. Don't you think Hunter Johnson would have been screaming like, oh my God, there's blood everywhere. Oh my God, like blood, 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 blood. Right? No. So this though, here, 911's called. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what we have. What is the address of it? 1122. No, don't. What is the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And what is the house or apartment? Oh, it's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that we have it right? Then the phone gets passed. I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them. And she wants to tell a story. She's not calling. Wouldn't she be calling for help, you guys? They want to tell a story. They need to tell what happened. I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. Still on the first level. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What's your phone number? That person had to be next to that person, so she says it, she repeats it to the person, she says it again, she repeats it, so, okay. Okay, and tell me what exactly is going on. Emily, the neighbor. One of the roommates who's passed out, so she was about to pretend to be, she's like, oh wait, I just told her that I live next door. So one of the roommates who's passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Emily is repeating what Bethany told her from just right there in conversation. So that's hearsay that Emily's repeating right now. That she got in a, not because she's seeing the body, she's getting this in a conversation that's on the first floor in a bedroom. Now, and then Bethany says, no, we saw, and then she stops. Dispatch says, okay. Emily continues to say, oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Then Bethany either just yanks the phone back or Emily hands it over and she says, hi. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. So they're on the first floor in the bedroom. That's what I want you to picture right here. Telling a story. Telling a story. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What? Why are you calling 911? Why are you calling 911? You don't call 911 to tell your side of a story, you guys. You don't do this. You call 911 if it's a, oh my God, I come in and I'm calling and I'm, oh my God, I just saw my friend. Oh my God, get over here right now. What is like, this is, so you're on the first level of your house. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Now, if you are the awesome detectives at Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI, you would have immediately known that somebody utters the words 4 a.m. So this whole, we believe that this happened at 3 a.m. being ever uttered to all of us back in the day, where in the fuck did that come from? Why did they ever think that this, they said that we think this happened between 3 and 4 a.m. Remember? It's because in Idaho, they don't listen to 911 calls, or they at least act like they don't listen to them. And they don't put them into evidence for 6 months, and usually after the preliminary hearing will the 911 call go into evidence. So remember when I told you I really wanted to get into that Dr. Moore case because it featured the same fucking idiots that are doing the Idaho4 case? This is why. Because Jennifer Drake's 911 call was absolutely outrageous, just like this. And they didn't use the 911 call. So did they use this transcript? Is that what they did instead of playing the 911 call at the preliminary hearing? Just curious, because, or the, not the preliminary hearing because they didn't have that. They had the grand jury. Because at Dan Moore's preliminary hearing, they had the wrong queued up 911 call and they had to stop it in progress. Then they never even ended up playing one. And so therefore, like I was just like, this, none of this is normal. Like, how did you not catch this? So here in this situation, very similar here, we have a huge questionable 911 call where somebody is calling to tell a story versus calling for help. When have you heard still yet that somebody is saying, hey, can you send a police officer? Or like, oh my God, there's got to be somebody still in our house. Or can you please send an ambulance? When is anybody truly calling for help? Help. Where do you see in this phone call or hear in this phone call anybody asking for help? You don't. You don't. This is not normal. This isn't people that are just, how did Steve put it? This isn't a scripted Hollywood thing. This is raw emotion. Well, what have you heard? Because I don't see any emotion here. I'm reading words, so I don't know. When you read words, you can never tell anybody's emotion, just like in a text message. That's why so many things are always miscued in text messages, because there's no emotion, because you're not talking to the person. You don't know how to take it. But you can't tell emotion from transcripts, ever. So that tells me that Steve has heard the 911 call, period. And because there's no emotion here. There's none. And I would never say that these girls are They're on the first level. And I can't wait to hear the 911 call to see if and when people are actually going up steps. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? Well, what is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know. But pretty much at 4 a.m., okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? Steve, I don't really know. That sounds to me like someone who's scared or somebody that is wanting, you need to get over here and help my friends. I can't possibly imagine what they're going through right now. He was saying, well, they wanted to get a story out there. That's fact. Yeah, I'll come. We do statement analysis all the time with this. Yeah, I'll come. No, it's, if you're telling me, like, I need to know, she says right now, I need to know, is somebody, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? The answer is yeah. I'll come. I'll come there. I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. You guys, they aren't there. They aren't there. And people are going to say, oh, yeah, because they're outside. Well, I don't even think that they're inside, outside. I question where the fuck they are. Okay? I want to hear the 911 call because I want to hear steps from downstairs to upstairs. Okay? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we got to go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? Dispatching Moscow Law Ambulance. She's not waking up. They're acting this part out, in my opinion. Because if you walked up there and you actually were talking to the person that's standing over the body of Xana, okay? And you were right, you would see all this blood. She's not waking up. Okay, maybe. This is all dispatch. The Q2. Yeah. Yeah, it's Evan. Now back to Bethany. Okay. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. What? You have to look at it this way with the Q. If you actually take this out, okay, because this is dispatch talking to officers that would be responding or ambulances, like, first responders. This is this type of dialect. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Okay, maybe, and then, so this right here, all of this stuff, what I want you to do is look at it by taking this out. And if you go right here, this is where you would start and pick back up. And now here, a different person has the phone. Yeah, it's Evan. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him? Now, at this point, it's almost like somebody's in person talking, and then just the 911 call is picking that up. And that's how after I dissected the shit out of this last night, it's like someone's in person asking that. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yeah, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him? And it's like this person that's talking and has the 911 caller and has the phone is saying, here, do you want to talk to them? Like, do you want to talk to the police officer? Like trying to pass the phone off to the police officer. Okay, but then here answer goes back to answer 2, which is, in our opinion, Evan. I mean, hello. Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone, and now is this Hunter? Is the A2? Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. A2, Hunter. Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Okay, hello? Okay, I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. Okay. This is wild. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. That's when they're saying the reporting party is advising, and then they're saying the patient is not conscious, not breathing. So the dispatch is telling this to somebody. Okay, and I don't believe that they mean to be talking to the kids. Okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. We don't have one. But our problem is that nobody's asking for one. Like, we don't have one. How do you know that? Why aren't you saying, hey, do you guys have this? This person, oh, we don't have one. Well, that's, I guess, Bethany or Dylan then. Unconscious, not breathing. Okay, do you have? Now they ask somebody. Yep, well, that's the officer. Yes, we have one. They do, because Ellie is there. Or is it, this volunteer firefighters? But are you talking to the officer? Yes. Okay, I'm going to let you go. He's there with you and can help you. And so everybody last night was thinking that all of these, can't make out what it is. That is the dispatch talking to the people that they're dispatching. None of this is normal. And none of it's normal. Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, Moscow for copy 13. I think we have a homicide. But this sounds like, now that I see this page and you have these lines like this, guys, that's like transcripts. So that means that this was played out loud during a proceeding, if it's transcripts like that. And let's see. Didn't they make it there in like 2 minutes? It's interesting. Ann Taylor has a problem with the issue saying that this was all happening and that everybody just realized all this for the first time right then and there. Okay. And that she's going to be arguing that this isn't, it's staged. They're calling after the fact. They're not calling. Everybody's calm. Nobody's screaming. They want to tell a story. They just didn't walk in on anybody's bodies. Okay. That's not what's happening here. Does that make sense? Is that, I'm trying to explain. I don't think I think what's odd about this is if anybody was to hear this conversation, hear the 911 call, it's going to be so calm. There's no, it's not your typical 911 call as opposed like to walking up and seeing a body and, oh my God, you know, they called people over to the house, but they literally just called Emily. That's the only phone call that's on Dylan's that they're releasing in this thing that they want to release here to us to say here. I think it's interesting that Dylan texts and has exchanges with her dad at 11:39. I think the patterns will show that Dylan very rarely talks to her dad. These statements are not hearsay, as they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead to show a timeline for the morning, because the state needs to get across that they were downstairs. They were just, you know, making their phone calls on the social media, just like they would do any other morning, laying in bed, not getting right up. You know, here she is, she's, you know, texting with her dad. Then at 11:50 and 55 seconds, DM receives a text message from Jay stating, bro, this text message will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted. It's again just a timeline. At 11:50 and 58 seconds, DM calls EA, who is Emily. This phone record is not a statement pursuant to, it's again, this is just a timeline, so EA. But literally 2 or 3 seconds right after the phone call is made, when we don't know, was it completed? But during that 3 seconds delay right here, Jay, she received another text message from Jay, but we don't get whatever it says. They don't give us that. And then they want to note that then nothing else happened on DM's phone from 11:51 and 1 second till DM got the vandal alert at 1:04. That's what they're trying to portray, is that this just all led up to, boom, them calling the police at 11:56 after calling friends over, and informing in the smallest capacity, just like, what, hey, we're scared to go upstairs at 11:50. Why would you be scared? Well, because Dylan called and nobody was answering. And remember when Steve has said, well, they knew that something was wrong because my daughter, she's not going to, like, she's always by her phone. And they looked out the window and they saw all the cars were there. And so at 10:30, when you're texting and saying, like, are you up? Please answer, are you up? So what it shows me is that, what were they doing in these large gaps? They're alleging, as far as to make a timeline up, they're saying that after some 4:28 text message to here, DM and BF's testimony. The state anticipates that both DM and BF will testify at trial. The state intends to ask each witness about statements made to them on November 13th, 2022. The state. Oh, I'm sorry. The testimony should substantiate, replicate the testimony they provided at the grand jury. Should. Remember, you're not like grand jury. They're just unfeathered, just testifying. The state submits the statements from both DM and BF to each other are allowable hearsay because they are present sense impressions and or excited utterances. And what Ann Taylor's argument was, because it came up in the motion to dismiss, is that this was inadmissible this way. They admitted it this way, and it's inadmissible this way. Because Ann Taylor, I'm telling you, was going to push back on the fact that you're using it to establish the time of a crime. Okay? And like I've given this example so many times to say, oh my God, Annie, some dude just fucking hit me. And then Annie says, oh my God, I can't believe it. Well, you guys, I got in a car accident a fucking hour ago. Okay? I got in a car accident an hour ago. You like that, Annie? So that's my thought process with that, is like to use a text. So if I am on the stand and I'm questioned, it's like, do you remember? It's like this. Why didn't you call 911? If you're so scared, why didn't you call 911? I don't know. I didn't think that it was real. Well, Bethany said that she was freaked out too and told you to come down to her room, right? So when you got down there, you guys didn't think that after hearing your roommate scream or anything, like, and they weren't answering you, that it wasn't real, it was a dream? I don't know. I don't actually remember texting Bethany. I don't remember any of that. I thought I was dreaming. So you thought you were texting, you thought all of this was a dream. Yeah, exactly. That's why I never, like when I woke up in the morning at 10, everything that I woke up to, I thought it was all a dream. Okay, but you woke up in Bethany's bed. Do you normally sleep in Bethany's bed? So you didn't get upstairs, you didn't go upstairs and go to your room and start, I don't know, go to the bathroom, go use the shower, brush your teeth. No, actually I was hungover. I threw up a couple different times downstairs. I couldn't even move. And I was just like, well, it says that you texted, please answer at 10:24. So you texted Kaylee, please answer. And then are you up? Are you up to both of them? That's the same language that you used at 4:00 in the morning at 4:20. And then so you go ghost silent because we're supposed to believe that you guys were sleeping from 4:38 until 10:32, right? This is how I envision it. Because why would you need to do any of this? The only way that I could see that they need to get these motions in this way, and it's because the defense was like, these weren't utterances of, this doesn't meet the hearsay exactly, because we believe that it's staged. We believe that this is all staged. And then when we're asking them, they're saying that they don't remember any of this shit because Dylan thinks it was all a dream. You guys see how crazy that I'm just trying to forecast this out for you to show you how crazy this is going to be on the stand. And that a jury is going to listen to this. Finally, we reiterate that when the declarant appears for cross-examination at trial, the Confrontation Clause places no constraints at all on the use of his prior testimonial statements. It is therefore irrelevant that the reliability of some out-of-court statements cannot be replicated even if the declarant testifies to the same matters in court. But what if they testified to, I don't remember? This motion to eliminate oral arguments that we're going to have here in April are going to be off the chain. Because it's been everything that we said it was going to be. How is this possible? How is this possible? I will say that looking at the transcripts that were provided here along the side, and it seems to me that the 911 call is relatively quick. But yeah, all right, 11:26 time. So with that said, join me back. I'll be sprinkling the day with nothing but true crime. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, moderators, subscribers. We got Karen, didn't even see this. Gotta give some bell shaking. Woo-wee. 20 gifted memberships. Kelly Mack, new member. Thank you so much. Robin, super sticker, $10. Thank you so much. WB, hate to block chat with chump change, but thank you. Woohoo! Just for the record here, the autism is not a defense for the murders, okay? All right. It's Brian Colbert wants to take the stand, I believe. Brian Colbert wants to take the stand. That's my opinion after I read the whole motion, which is something I wanted to talk about. But so many people wanted to break down this 911, break down the text messages. We did the experiment. And if you did not join us right away, just go right to the beginning. It's right at the beginning of this video. And we did it as fast as we could, no delay. It was 2 minutes and 47 seconds to get all of that in. These girls did it in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Okay. I'm going to keep on trying to see how we could get it down to be 2 minutes and 17 seconds to have that type of an interaction. And that means that everything would be overlapping to the point of like, you're not even reading the other person's messages. You're just both texting. Okay. Fire, like, you're just fire texting. Deborah, shake it. Woo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Boom, thank you. Again, you guys all rock. So go back, check out the beginning. We did the experiment. Here's a really good look at it. Power calling. I think them saying he's autistic and fighting the death penalty. No, because it's not how the law works. I'll go over the document. So it's just none of this, you guys. They believe he's innocent. Exactly. They're not using it as a defense for that. That's not what it's about. You actually have to read the document to see why they're disclosing it. And it has to do with actually mainstream media attacking somebody with disabilities, and his quirkiness and his mannerisms. And these are all things that are from being his disability. So Atlanta. Kaylee starts power calling and texting right after Dylan calls Growler. She begins power texting at 2:26 a.m. Okay, and Dylan texts him at 2:10. So there is a 16-minute gap there. "16 minutes after Dylan texts." Yeah. Yeah. I think Dylan's going to testify to saying that I don't remember texting him. And because I was like, what I would text him for, my pattern would be that I would have texted him in the past for, rides home, to get food, things like that. But I think I had fallen asleep. And so the question is, so when you got home, did you see Kaylee and Maddie between getting home and going to sleep? Like, these are all questions that are going to come out. Don't know if they've already come out during the grand jury with how they were, doing the questioning. But I think we pretty much explained here in this past hour and a half to 2 hours that the jury, just to buy this, is going to be very, very interesting, with unknown DNA underneath the fingernails of Maddie that do not belong to Brian Kober, blood not belonging to Brian Kober on the railing. Now knowing that the people that were going from downstairs to the first level from the second level were the roommates, were people that were summoned over there. That's the railing that was taken, that would have been taken by those people. That's where the blood allegedly is. For a jury to sit here and hear all of these things, and that it's going to be, that's where I'm like, how does anybody, if this is what you're going to present to me and you want me to believe that this guy did it, you're going to have to bring more than trace DNA. That I believe the defense is going to make it seem like it was planted, because that's the only thing that's tying him. And the defense is right when they say it's a circumstantial case, because that's circumstantial. And everything else that they're going to show would be all circumstantial, with ballparking where cars are and phones are, and that this car is truly that car. And, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I just look at it, how do you prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt? And everybody believes that this knife sheath is going to do it. That's enough. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to ignore a lot of other things and then put the manifested weight all on that sheath. That's what you're asking the jury to do if you're the prosecution right now, based off of what I've seen. Based off of what I've seen in the public record, is that everything relies on this sheath, and doing a lot of excluding of, up until this point, before we had the name Brian Kober, the Moscow Police Department and the ISP is going to get up there and talk about how all they kept on doing was just excluding people. Excluding. We know that that's a lie, because how could you be excluding people when you have unknown blood? So I'm interested to see what type of case that the prosecution's going to put on. It's their burden to convict this man that did these heinous acts, and not let the jury find him innocent because of the actions of the FBI, because of the actions of the roommates, because of the abnormal, So you're going to ignore everything else and just, hey, this sheath wouldn't be there. This guy tried to commit the perfect crime. He was a criminology student. He was studying to pull off the most perfect crime. He moves away. He changes his phone number. He gets a new phone number. He gets in his car and he drives across country. He gets admitted into this program where nobody knows him, and he's going to be able to finally fulfill his kills. He wants to start killing. He's very smart. He covered his track, all these things. This is how you're going to sell that to the jury. He even put out a, what do you call it? He even did a survey. He was asking the public to help him commit the perfect crime. And this is why these motion in limines are being put out the way they are, because Ann Taylor and her team know this is the only way that you're going to be able to sell this shit to the jury, is to make Brian Kober seem like he is a psychopathic Ted Bundy wannabe. So the only way that you can truly be fair with is when you consider both sides. Like if you were a prosecutor in this case, even if you thought Brian Kober was innocent, how would you prosecute? What would you do to show and to get the jury to find guilty? How would you present your case? Man, have there been anything mentioned in, let me highlight that one. In release documents about the naked, no. I don't know where that came from. I just know that everything I was told with the masks and stuff, guys, I was told that Maddie and Kaylee actually saw the guy or girl, whoever, with the mask on, okay? When they came home, that they had told people, because even like the neighbor knew about it. And now the person that I heard this from now, after seeing the 911 transcripts, it's interesting because it's like Steve had to have seen these transcripts before, because the person that I got the information got it from Steve. And it was talking about that Maddie and Kaylee had seen and were mentioning the mask and somebody being outside with a mask on when they had gotten home. Okay. And so I think there might be some cherry picked text messages. So that's what I was told, is that it was Kaylee and Maddie when they got home. They had seen the masked person, because when they took Murphy out to, go pee or whatever, then I started thinking about it even more so with the whole dog barking outside and the dog coming in and things like that, and who brought the dog in, because it's the defense. The defense is saying basically that the dog barking and being outside, that somebody would have had to bring the dog in. And why that's so important now is because I believe that the defense is saying that Dylan did not go to bed and Bethany did not go to bed at 4:28 a.m. That dog is still outside barking until 4:50. And so therefore one of those two girls, because everybody else is dead if they're saying this, right, had to have gone and get the dog and brought the dog inside, because the barking stops. And then what would make sense to me is that the dog then would have slept downstairs in the same room that the girls were in. And this is why I think the defense was hitting so hard on that, is because it totally messes up the timeline of Dylan being able to say, or the state being able to say that, see how there's no more movement on Dylan's phone, and she's not texting, or she's not, because she fell asleep. And the defense is going to say, well, the dog's still barking all the way up until this point. And so, are you sure that you didn't go and get the dog and bring the dog in? When you put the dog in a room, the spare bedroom, actually, maybe the one that's down and to the right where the golf clubs were. Maybe that's actually why the dog was barking, because it was in a room that's never in, and you just could so happen to hear it be barking in that room. I mean, and Taylor said from day one, as this channel has said from day one, this timeline of putting everything truly in order of how things really happen versus their version of how things happen. They wanted to tell 911 a story, you guys. A story. I've never, in all of the years that I've covered true crime, have I ever heard a 911 call somebody and want to tell a story except Jennifer Drake. I've just never heard a 911 call tell a story. When someone says, can I just tell you this story? You guys, that's not normal. That's not normal. You don't call 911 and tell a dispatcher a story from the night before. Like, that defies, when I say logic, I'm talking about that defies an upbringing. My family raised me a certain way. You call 911 when there's an emergency, when you come across an emergency, okay? You need help. You call 911 for help. You don't call 911 to tell somebody about something. A story. Like, that just isn't even in the realm of like how you're raising your kid and it's embedded in you. Like, my son at 9 years old would not call 911, and he would say, I need someone to come here. I need help. I don't know. Can you bring some? Like, the words help didn't come out of anybody's mouth. We need help. That's what's lacking. I don't know of any other reason that you call 911 if not to get help. That wasn't the purpose of that call. The purpose of that call was not to get help, because at nowhere in that call does anybody say the word help. And if Ann Taylor doesn't use that, which I think that she will, but I also think that I'm an extraordinary arguer. I will find something and I will argue it. This is the full 911 call. It wasn't that long. If they play that over the airwaves in the way that they did in the transcript, then yeah. That 911 call we thought was going to be horrific. That, you know, there's not even a mention about going and checking on, wait, I thought this whole thing, like, I couldn't get any, I was texting Kaylee and Maddie and they aren't responding. Nobody even goes to them. Nobody even goes to them. This is all just about Xana. One person about Xana. And then somebody says in that 911 call, no, I don't want to go. And that's so telling to me when it was like, okay, here, come on, let's go. And the person that's overheard, and they're like, no, like, I'm not, no. It's so sad. This is so, so sad. But just to hear Steve come out last night and like act like this is normal, then I mean, I don't know what's in the water in Idaho then, because I can't imagine that it's normal for kids to call 911 and to tell 911 that you want to talk about a story from 8 hours ago. 8 fucking hours ago. You want to tell me about what happened 8 hours ago, but you're not calling me for help. You're calling me to explain something. You're calling me to explain why your house is the way that it is right now. But I thought you didn't know how the house was because you're downstairs, right? So how are you even calling to explain anything if you don't know anything? And I just can't imagine that you're going to have 12 people on a jury that is all going to go back to a deliberating room and agree that everything with what happened from 2 a.m. until noon is normal. Nothing to see here. These people had so many different opportunities to do a lot of things differently, and they didn't. And I'm telling you what's coming. They are going to, Steve just told us what's coming. All of these people are going to be testifying to all of these prankings, and that all of these prankings. And I think that helps the defense way more than anyone can ever imagine, because exactly all these prankings, this is what you guys do to each other. And somebody took it too far, didn't they? But then you mix in taking drugs, and then you're rolling and tripping, and then you're just what? Now you want me to believe that somebody random to this whole situation who has no idea who any of you people are, and you don't know who they are, they know that you like to play and prank with masks and knives. And this person randomly comes in your house who nobody knows from across the country. And once he gets there to go to school, within 3 months, I'm going to wear all black like they do. I'm going to put on mask like they do. I'm going to bring a knife like they do. And I'm going to stab these people like they pretend to do. That is how I would open my closing or my opening statements to this fucking jury. You understand that that's everything that they play and joke around and prank about came true one day. The same people that were their prime suspects and their alternate suspects, these were all the same people that were involved in this pranking and behaving this way. You guys, this is like some straight up, go watch those frat sorority show, like TV movies. I can't believe that somebody who doesn't know these people literally committed a crime to mimic how they were with each other, and that it was these pranks and stuff like that, then somebody who doesn't know them did this. Watch Skulls. Hey, Mike dropping. Oh my God, is that you? Dead. I love you. Watch Skulls to start. Said it from the get-go, right? Is that right? Is that right? Okay, then you have my source, Dave, who straight up said that those Snapchats were going crazy. 9 o'clock in the morning till noon. All this is going to come out, guys. And the only person that's going to be trying to get some plea deals, okay, is I personally believe is the state. I believe that the state's going to offer Brian Kober the deal. We'll take the death penalty off. You do this, and we won't kill you. But I think that Steve tried to get in front of that. I don't think, doesn't matter. Brian Kober is not taking a plea deal. Read Ann Taylor's last filing. Brian Kober, there is no confession. Brian Kober maintains his innocence. We highly, dispute the facts of this case. The facts of this case are in high dispute. Lana, you have to remember this was 2 weeks after Halloween. I mean, this was constant for them, though. They're in pictures with machetes. They're in pictures with masks. They're in pictures with fake guns. They're in picture. I mean, fuck, maybe they're real guns. I don't know. They have masks left and right with like donkey faces. I don't know. It's weird ass shit. These sororities and fraternities were putting dead animals, carcasses on each other's, porches. I'm sorry, but somebody's dog had just been skinned. Buddy. You got all these guys that are, hunters. They grew up being hunters with their families, with their parents and shit. Atlanta, do you think what they were saying about that filming a movie is true then? Filming a movie. No, I think that got, I think things got into like the whole like rumor mill. I think that 11112 King should have, unless their camera should have all this porch activity. I think it's going to come out. I know in the guns offices got really pissed that the police didn't get to a camera soon enough, and it was lost. Very curious to know which one that is. I believe it's something that mattered. So I think that this didn't come out after the murders because it was definitely part of their investigation. Like, if you think that these police officers were buying this shit after I showed you the body cams where these police officers been to this house, okay, that kid, man, I mean, all these they have no problem lying to the police for a noise complaint. And they called the police and told the truth. I no, I don't. But if you don't think the police were highly, like, wait, what do you want us to believe? That you guys were all home and this happened, and you guys don't know who did this, and you guys are all perfectly fine, and nobody harmed you? I mean, think about if you're a true officer and you're just gonna buy that shit. Like, you're gonna have to totally you're gonna have to rule them out of knowing anything. So it's just, Remember the mayor. Remember the mayor. This is a crime of passion. It's a crime of passion. Moscow and the University of Idaho, they never imagined that this case would take on the path that it has and that it had. Never in a million thousand years. They are so used to doing things their way in Idaho. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want. Okay. That's who we are. And this case put their little world in a microscope and blew it up and totally exposed the shit of Idaho. I mean, like, people didn't even know that Idaho's a state. That's just the truth. Idaho, wait, what? Huh? It's sad. I mean, nobody would have ever thought that Nancy Grace is going to go take a pop-up white table and sit outside the house and set up a fucking studio out there. You guys, when she came to Delphi, she came there for all of 30 minutes just to seriously make a scene. Like a prop. Like, it's just a prop in her story. You know, nobody would have ever thought that there'd be all these body cams that would get leaked and out, and we would know that this, I mean, of all the houses that existed in that area, we're able to get crazy body cam footage that's just a couple months before these murders happen, and like showing the culture of the house, showing the culture of the people that were in the house and always partying there and lying to cops lying to kids, cops pouring out alcohol because they quote unquote said it was abandoned. That shit wasn't abandoned alcohol. Get the fuck out of here. Cops threatening the kids with the Greek life. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But that should just tell you how important Greek life is and what type of power it has. Without the university, you do not have Moscow. Nobody's going to have businesses there. That's what makes that little town go. But calling 911 to tell a story, that's a new one, guys. Go Google search. Go check out cases and tell me and provide me 911 calls where somebody calls and doesn't ask for help, not once. Even people that when they kill their wives or their husbands and they stage it and they call 911 acting like, you know, oh my God, I just found can you come and help? Okay. They need to tell a story. It's because maybe they're thinking no one's going to believe this, or, oh my God, like, I mean, what do you think was going through their mind when I need to call and tell 911 a story? That, hey, there was a masked man in our house. There was a man with a mask at 4 a.m. What? What the fuck? Well, then why didn't you call us at 4 a.m., you fucking idiot? Like, what do you... And then they use the term we saw. We saw. That's really, really important. We saw. That's why Ann Taylor subpoenaed and was planning on subpoenaing and having this preliminary hearing Bethany. Because Ann Taylor was like, oh my God, everything that this Bethany broad is saying is completely contradicting Dylan. And here, the prosecution just went with, and the police just went with Dylan. Meanwhile, Bethany, whatever she's claiming in these reports that we've never heard or seen about, they have to say something different. What did Bethany possess that was exculpatory to Brian Koberger? And it's everything that took place earlier, which I think there was a fight. I think people were dressed in all black. I think people had masks on. I think Kaylee and Maddie, when they had come home, had said if they had seen somebody out there. So that would be at 2:00 in the morning, you know. So then think about Dylan's text at 2:10 asking if that homie's still driving. This is going to be the craziest trial, I think, that's like since OJ Simpson. OJ Simpson's trial was crazy. Like the actual, like all the stuff around it, you know? I think this trial is going to have that. Like it's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. Going postal. That's an interesting fact though. Hi, Mike. I'm just so happy that Mike dropped in here. I just can't get enough. I can't wait to talk about habits. When we talk about DM calling or texting and having a text exchange with her dad. It's funny that Jonathan Lee Riches would look into Dylan's dad, right? You guys remember I showed you guys those videos. He said, if you ever get in trouble, I will get you out of it. Who does Dylan text at 11:30? Her dad, before they ever called 911. Thank you so much, H. Ray. $20. Guys, Dylan's dad. Honey, these are my baby girls. If anybody messes with them, I'm gonna bust them up. Janine from the Seattle area. Oh, my little vegetarian. 19 months. I adore you so much. My husband knows everything about you. Mad about you. Mad about you. Who's Eric? He's the party driver. He doesn't work for Uber either. You know, this whole thing about Xana getting this DoorDash, you know, at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. I mean, wow. Talk about how does Eric not have a million? Yeah, maybe he will after the trial. Remember now, go back to the PCA. Go back to this PCA. DM say that I sound like Kaylee was playing with her dog. Kaylee's this and Kaylee, you know, and then I got up, opened the door once, then opened the door twice, then opened the door 3 times. Then poof, he was just right in front of me. And so I believe that they were on the phone, Dylan and Bethany, between 4 and before she called again, like at 4:19. I mean, she has to have been, there has to be text messages before the 4:22 time frame. You do not text somebody and say that no one is answering to somebody that didn't answer. You call 4 people, but you only text 1 person. No one is answering. It's wild, you guys. Nobody was frozen in a shock state. She stood there in a frozen shock state, like as he walked past her. I mean, what a pain just making up children's novels, like little bedtime stories. Idaho4 bedtime stories. Hippler just opening up everything that's sealed. It's like, no, this is all going to be he alludes to the fact that what I'm unsealing is stuff that's going to be evidence. So, and I want to see some pushback by our girls, and I hope that we see that pushback by the defense with the way that the line of questioning will go, with this motion limiting. I mean, I'm sorry, but these girls don't remember texting, and we want to use it for utterance and to get in and beat the hearsay exception rule and to use as a timeline? Wait, what? If that has truly been said in any documents, I will blow a gasket. Because everybody knows that you text after the fact of something. I'm not texting somebody and saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting into a car accident right now." We text after it and we say, "Oh my God, you'll never believe this," or "This dude just hit me." He didn't just hit me though when I sent that text message. He hit me fucking 30 minutes before that, or an hour before that, or I mean. But Judge said that it clearly, they did not have time to fabricate a story. But it all happened so fast. And I'm like, yeah, almost too fast. We did that experiment this morning and fuck that, man. You literally have to be like, I didn't stop texting when we were doing the experiment. And it is 2 minutes and 47 seconds that me and Annie were able to do that in. And Dylan and Bethany did it in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. That's insanity. Oh, thank you there, Joe. I appreciate that. She's texting between door openings and shuttings. Yeah, she's just, but that 2 minutes and 17 seconds that they said that happened and occurred, you guys, it's just nonstop. You're like not even waiting. So therefore nobody's answering anybody's text. Okay. There's when Bethany is just writing, shut the fuck up. And actually STFU actually. What? STFU actually. So am I. So maybe that's what she meant to say, but she accidentally pressed, send before she could finish this. Actually, so am I. Like it just, and then it cut it off because here's Dylan just sending, like nobody's waiting. There's no, oh, I got this message. I'm reading it and then I'm replying. 2 minutes and 17 seconds to fire off that shit back and forth. And click out, go to Kaylee's, write what you wrote, go back to then Bethany's name, and continue blasting away in there. I'm going to do it again live. And you guys, it's impossible. It's impossible to do that. Or I should say this, it's probably possible, but I would be reading nothing that you're saying and you're reading nothing that I'm writing. And we just start blasting each other with texts. And to the point that I'm writing as you're writing each and every time. And so then this is why it's just a jumbled mess. And it doesn't make any sense. Nope. Eddie says, no, it couldn't have happened that way in right side up world. The texting history has been manipulated. I don't know if I necessarily that it's been manipulated. I think it's just, there's a potential to be staged. It could be potentially staged. There's also a potential that what if Dylan isn't texting from her phone? What if it's somebody else? So I also question, are they both at the house? I definitely question if Dylan's at the house. Bethany saying, come down, run down to my room. It's almost like you guys we're staging the fact that we're there. And if we're able to just go off of cell towers, right? And the cell towers just say like, yeah, well, so it's pinging there, but I could be at the next door neighbors, right? And I would still be in that little bubble that you guys are using. Are we, what type of GPS are we talking about here? What if I'm just at the neighbors or across the street? Like where I would still be, you would think that I was, at my house? Very interesting. That's why I just give me the data, man. Deborah, what's up, girl? I'll tell you one thing. If I ever get in a predicament, I'm hiring you. You are a beast. Thank you. You have more credentials and persistency than a licensed lawyer. I just appreciate the, woo. That's humbling to hear. Thank you so much. I hope that you never need it though. But that 911 call, guys, I feel bad for Steve to have to get out there on national television and to say that he thinks that's normal. Because I would never tell my kid to call 911 and not ask for help, but to tell 911 a story. Even Nicole Simpson was like, listen to her 911 calls when she's, hey, I need you to send somebody over here. OJ Simpson's about to beat my ass. Okay. Like, she's calling for help. She's not telling them a story about how he beat her, last night. She's calling for help. Who is this Emily? Oh, everybody knows Emily. Emily. Give yourself some cowbell, Anna. I'm going to start chugging my high noon, you guys. So glad you guys are here joining. Like, I'm supposed to be talking about the Shanna Gardner case. Shanna Gardner Jose Baez files a sick-ass sanctions motion because the prosecution is, again, doing what they're doing in these other cases, same thing. Henry Tenen has recanted his, he's saying that he did not give truthful testimony when he said that he killed Jared Bridegan. Yeah, interesting. Henry Tenen is the state star witness against Shanna Gardner and Mario Saldana Fernandez, and the murder for hire plot of Jared Bridegan, Jacksonville Beach. Jacksonville Beach police and prosecute that Duval County. Holy crap, man. Dude, put a microscope under that county. We got some crooked ass shit going on. I think the Duval County prosecutors, they way surpass Ashley and Bill Thompson on my radar for shady ass slime fucks. I wouldn't even go into a strip club with those motherfuckers. That's how slimy they are. I wouldn't even pay a stripper to dance for them motherfuckers. They are shit bags in Duval County. Stay the hell out of there. They give Nick McLeland a run. The stuff that they're doing, they're having private meetings. Wait till you see this case that we cover here. Right, it's going to be right after the Idaho4 case. That trial kicks up in in October. So if it doesn't get pushed out, which there is a strong potential for that, we'll see. But it goes Idaho4's August to October to whenever is going to be the Jose Baez is leading the ropes there. He's got a great team there. Karate's awesome. Peoples is Jose Baez's right hand. She's a fucking whip. She's like little for Karen Reed's case. But when you got the right people and you're in a position that you work for the people, you answer to the people, these prosecutors and these public governmental officials, dude, who do y'all think you are? I was looking through the Columbus police officers and how much money these Columbus police officers made last year in 2024. Do you know that the top paid government person in Columbus didn't clock in at, being the chief or it was some Officer Banks for the Columbus Police Department made $340,000 in 2024. $340,000. 219 or 220,000 of it was overtime. I'm like, holy shit! These cops in Columbus are making between $200,000 and $300,000. Insanity. And they're doing all this crazy ass the overtime. I just couldn't even I'm like, holy shit. How are you racking up that much? Like, what, dude? How are you making 200 grand in overtime? And your regular money is just like 114,000, and you're making 200,000 in overtime. You guys, that's sick money. I think that's sick money. 30 to 40% of all local taxes go to cops. That's how, well, it's, when I saw what the budget was, dude, billions. Billions is going to Columbus Police Department. I said, holy shit. Damn. This is wild to me. So, you know. You want to trust law enforcement, but I want to trust decision making. I think we all forget, like, look, cops are just average, normal people, right? So it's decision making, like to decide. You look at something and it's your discretion on why you're going to go do X, Y, and Z. And so that's very powerful, your decision making. And that's kind of what Ann Taylor was talking about is there was people in the beginning of this investigation that were making decisions as to who would be interviewed, when they would be interviewed, who's making these decisions, who's deeming stuff relevant and pertinent. Well, they only sent me pertinent, stuff that says pain. Well, I think it'd be pretty pertinent to all be sitting down in a room, and probably all you guys are like, there's no way that this is the story. That these broads and this, and there's no way that this is the story. Or maybe somebody that was higher up says, I don't give a fuck what the story is. You're going to bury all this shit because this is going to ruin the University of Idaho, Moscow. So that's where I'm talking about when you want to follow the money. Other people like, Atlanta, follow the drugs. No, guys, follow that this cannot ruin. Like, we need people to feel safe and to come to the University of Idaho so that we keep this well-oiled machine of money making everybody money. Okay. So I'm sorry. No, I'm not going down your drug path. Not until I get to the bottom of when I found out that Scott Green and the University of Idaho was involved in the command. Are you kidding me? Why the fuck would they have anything to do with anything? And think about it. They have one reason. PR. Dude, there's going to be drugs at every college campus. There's going to be people selling drugs at every college campus, okay? You're going to have to go way past the drugs for me. You're going to have to get into the human trafficking for me. Saying that these people were killed because they knew things, blah, blah, blah. No. You got little fratty girls and sorority boys that act out of pocket. And they knew it. Moscow knows it. Police know it. Thank you so much. Brenda sent me $20. I'm going to go down to Applebee's and make him do the dance song for me. I'm going to have lunch over there. Thank you so much, Brenda. Sent me on my Cash App. Cha-ching. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Not expecting that. Very kind. Thank you. You guys, somebody wrote a book. They wrote a book. They wrote a book in the middle of, like, they're trying to get the trial moved, and they come out and write a book and have a dedicated chapter. And thinking Scott Green's over here like, yeah, this is our manual to help other schools if they should ever go through something like this. Well, I hope to God nobody would ever go through something like this, but you guys were trying to isolate yourselves by always saying it was an off-campus housing. Okay. Damn. Off-campus housing. Isolate. I was looking. You guys know that Law and Crime is having a cruise. They're having some type of true crime cruise. They were just advertising it on their YouTube channel. CeCe Moore is going to be there. They're having a cruise. It goes from like Miami to the Bahamas. I think it's like, I want to say, go over there and look at Law and Crime's posts or something. I about fell out of my chair. You guys, we need to go and we can win they have murder mystery night, man. I'll fucking solve any case before you fucking ass clowns. They're gonna be over there like doing God knows what in the hors d'oeuvres section. We're over here solving cases in 30 seconds. What? Me and Holly are just talking over here about, she's like, were you able to book a room at the Gaylord Rockies Resort for CrimeCon? Because I think they're sold out. And I said, they will release more as it gets close and people start backing out. Like a lot of people just reserve and then they back out last minute or like a week before, like a month before. Trust me, someone's going to break up with somebody. They're going to go through a divorce in this country. And, morning, everybody, morning. Let's see. What else? I appreciate you, says Kim Young. Thank you. You work hard, girl. I try to make it so we want to stick to the evidence, and then you want stuff that isn't cleared up yet. Yeah, you can say you can speculate on those types of things. But if we know something to be something, or I try to keep it about the record, And all I can tell you right now is that the latest filing, Ann Taylor and her team hammer it home to say, listen, we have a huge problem here. We dispute all of these facts heavily. Brian maintains his innocence. Not only does he maintain it, there's no confession, there's no eyewitnesses, there's no videos, there's no audios. But when I saw that big about we dispute these facts that they're claiming, and that's about the time of the crime, that's about the evidence surrounding what was going on in that house and the people that all the people were friends with, the victims, the roommates. They have 68 devices, guys, 68 devices. And do you believe it that how in the world are you guys ready to go to trial in less than 6 months and your forensic phone people haven't provided reports to say, this is the information I'm using to show a timeline of events or why this information is so important that you took these people's phones and downloaded all of these phones, okay? And it's the same thing that they did with the with going out and getting all these Elantra tips. It's to saturate all of this shit. And then you data dump throughout the proceedings. But then when it's time for disclosures and, okay, what's your meat and potatoes? What's your case here? None of your 3 forensic phone people have a report and are going to say what they're testifying to? That's not how this works. That is not how this works. And we're not going to guess at it's something like 68. It'd be like 680,000 pages to go through if each Cellbrite or Axiom extraction was only 10,000 per phone to go through people's, these devices for text messages, health data. Yeah, this may be a little personal, but do you ever doze off from exhaustion and work while you're, Bella yells at me all the time. She's like, it is 3:00 in the morning. What the fuck are you doing? I'm like, because when I get so close to something that I'm about to it's like I have to finish it and then, okay, I'll go sleep. So yeah, sometimes my brain still runs. Yeah. But they arrested Brian off of not looking at anything because they weren't even looking at it for their own case before Brian. You know, and that's why I think what's important is what were you guys doing from November 13th until December 19th when you supposedly didn't have his name yet? What were you guys doing during that time? What was going on? We were still in the information gathering stage, so we were just interviewing people, going out and trying to preserve everything, right? That's what they're going to have to say because they didn't do a lick of like looking at stuff and going and getting stuff based on the stuff that they looked at. Like none of that was happening. And so you weren't truly at the investigative stage, right? You were at the information gathering stage, right? It's going to be wild. And Payne's just going to say, I don't know. I can't recall. I can't really recall. We did so much in this case. I can't recall we were doing that. Well, would it refresh your memory if we looked at your reports to tell you what you were doing on December, 1st or November 14th or November 19th? I mean, do you know how long this trial will take? Good luck with being 3 months. This is going to be like 9 months. I take the 5th. It's just sad. It's sad all the way around. But again, I just want to thank all of you guys. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, now I get to get a dessert at Applebee's. Get myself up. Oh, hopefully I'll have my camera all fixed up. You guys got this whole new system I got working. That's why I try to put my camera on, and it's saying, your cameras aren't set up. I'm like, yes, they are. So I've been throwing a fit over here at my cameras because you guys always know I'm on camera. Being off is just so impersonal. I just hate it. Oh, there's super chats? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. Oh, there it is. Casey, she saw something scary. DM in a frozen shock during the 911 call. Friends passing phone, trying to get info. DM stops. BF. Come on, let's go. Yeah, I see it a little bit differently. I don't even know where DM is. I don't even know that answer, Fry. I don't even know how many people were there at the house. We don't even know that answer. Bitch, you still don't know that answer. We don't even know. We don't believe anybody that was there for the 911 calls involved. We've cleared all them. Okay. How? Why? You guys did that at the presser. Get the fuck out of here. We don't even know that answer. I feel... And maybe they can just say it. Hey, we were scared because, yeah, we're all drinking underage. We're all fucking doing drugs. Like, that's what I'd be saying. Then I could get behind it. Like, yeah, you guys, we're fucking buying drugs. We're selling drugs. We're fucking drinking. None of us are 21. Of course we're scared. Then all of our roommates are dead. Of course we're scared. But that doesn't take away that you didn't call for help. You didn't call for help, and you still didn't call for help in the morning. Even when you were on 911, you didn't say that you needed help, that your friends need help. I think my friends need help. I think something happened here. I think my friends need help. I don't know. Now I'm starting to remember things that happened last night. I thought I was just dreaming. You guys need to get here. Something isn't right. That's what the fuck you would be saying. Now I want to tell you a story. Morning glory. Get your fucking coffee and your popcorn so I can tell you my story. That's so crazy. Lana, did Becca Barlow test all of the unknown DNA? I think she did a lot of testing. I think Becca did. And I know for a fact that Becca said that Brian is excluded 100% from underneath the fingernails. She excluded, yes. So Lana, did Becca Barlow test all the unknown DNA, B, C, D? And I know that she tested the 3 samples. I know that Bicca Barlow said that he is indeed, it's exculpatory because he is excluded with the private test that they did, and they proffered it up, showed like the lab results, they did all of that. And that's just where I'm just like, Mr. Gonsalves, like, nobody's trying to take words and not have words be said. It's no one's grasping at any of that. As any lawyer would do, Anne's doing her job, and she's doing it to a very, very high degree. Like, you're not going to call in front of the jury my client a psychopath, sociopath, murderer. And Steve's like, they might as well add statistic. Well, maybe they will, Steve. Thank you for telling them that. I don't know. But what's blowing away to me is that he has BAU reports. And I would clip that if I was Ann Taylor, and I would say, what the fuck? And I'd send it on to Ashley Jennings. And I said, do you care to explain how Mr. Gonsalves has seen BAU reports? Or is this just more false information from Mr. Gonsalves? Because you do know that Ashley Jennings would be answering that. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about. So I can't. Woman, I love her. What's up, girl? Right. They were knifed up. They don't care about your reference. Behavioral analysis unit is the FBI. They had a couple people working in the behavioral unit for the FBI that was there, and they were making up a profile of whoever did this. They were making a profile, prior to even having the name Brian Kober. They would have been getting a profile, and that's what he's referring to is that. But he even went as far as to say that he then had Brian's profile, because then he started saying that I know the stuff that he's basically searched on the internet. And I'm just like, wow, I bet you Ann Taylor would love that. Oh. Reefer? Oh, Reefer. Oh. Weed, Lana, Reefer, madness. Whoops, sorry, I thought you were talking about Bethany's referral over here. Like, I just want to refer you guys to what happened last night. I gotta go on that note. I gotta go eat. My brain's failing me. I'm dead. I can't breathe. Sorry. Fucking hilarious. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Yeah, so I'll be doing another live tonight at some point. I have my big live on Sunday. I am taking Saturday off to hang out, get my mind hopefully off this world of true crime. God, that's so funny. I don't give a fuck. You guys can all get high. You guys can do drugs. I don't care what anybody does. I don't care if you drink. All I care about is people that are just fun, loving humans. I don't care what you fuck, who you fuck. I think the most thing I'm judgmental about is just, are you dumbass? Like, I can't fuck with people that are just, where's your common sense? Where's your logic? Like, I can't even fuck with you. So, yeah. I don't care what your political views are. I don't ask you about them. You don't ask me about mine. And, it's like being at a bar. There's like just some golden rules. And everything's great in life. Did I say it right? Is that right? You guys, we are getting the Ann Taylor here. I'm just debating if I should put Ann Taylor's fucking face on my tits when it says, is that right? Or, because because I want it to be something that people would want to buy, and I just was like, if I just put Aunt Taylor's face right in the middle of them, you know. But versus, is that right? And I wanted an all white, like all white shirts with all white writing, but I want it outlined in black. So it's like a white out. Deborah, I appreciate your facts, humor, and logic, and you don't give a flying rat's ass about it. I don't care. And I'll tell you, like, hey, I can totally disagree with Steve all day, but that doesn't mean that I don't fucking, you know, care about that dude and wanting him to get justice. And I told him, hey, if it's Brian, it's Brian. If it's not, it's not. But they know where I stand, and they know that I'm a huge, big, like, my rights. Like Christy said, she's like, yeah, we love you. We know that you stand for that. You know, I'm just about, hey, we have rights, and I stand by. Like I'm hardcore on that. Nobody's gonna be violating my rights. No one's gonna be violating people's rights. They shouldn't be doing that. I was gonna say, Atlanta, for the first couple of weeks, everything you said that. Now it's been so many times I don't even notice. Oh, yeah, people that are racist, that's just ignorance. I personally believe that racist is taught, so just like math. No one's born racist. Come on now, it doesn't even make any sense. You're not born with hate. Hate is hate. How do you hate? Well, you learn that. That's what I don't understand. Like bullying, that falls on the parent. When a kid acts out and does stuff like that, that's all. Like, can you imagine if you saw your kid bullying? Like, as a parent, like, you have to know that your kid's a bully. How do you not? Especially once the school should do their part and say and report it to you to say, hey, I saw that Tommy was kind of picking on Joey and he was calling him like not nice names. I just wanted to point that out to you. Like, how hard is that to say that, a teacher to a parent? Fuck, write an email. You know what I mean? But if that was ever told to me by my kid, like, that would mortify and embarrass the living fuck out of me, and that would get them in serious trouble. You know. So, but then when you see that Tommy talks shit about, and you see their parent, and you're like, I see where he gets it from. I see where he gets it from. Is that right? Oh, there you go. You didn't like when I hated when you said, is that right? Now I don't mind it at all. Like, it belongs on the stream, you know? Hell yeah, is that right? Yeah. Between I don't knows and is that right? That's what's just going on in Idaho. The defense in Delphi slept on social media and they regret it. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Speaking of which, I mean, that's just horrific what's going on over there. As an educator, it's not a problem to let parents know. The problem is the parents do nothing because they don't care. And do you sense that with, as far as an educator here? Because like, if that was wrote to me or said to me, can you normally tell the way a parent responds that they don't care? Because if that was said to me about my kid, I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, wait, they did what? Because the teacher would know that that's not like normal at all. Like, we're getting, oh my God, Jack is such a joy to have in class. He's so funny. He's so, works so hard and kind, polite, because I'm always about manners, making sure he's being respectful. But do you notice that with like the response that? I'm just curious about that. Yeah, it's just how did they? That's a good question right there. That's the $1 million question. That's a lot of time was spent researching into WSU, what was going on in that area, um, and it's. I think that more of that will come out. The defense, I think, was alleging in the beginning that they questioned if the sheath was what produced the DNA sample to be tested. Um, that was based on my reading is that they were questioning that you guys got this sample, but that it didn't come from the sheath. So, all right, I got to officially go now. Exactly, leadership and respect is taught at home. You definitely tell how a parent responds because they always blame another child, the teacher, etc. Yeah, see me, I want to be educated in the situation. So I'm the type of parent that says, okay, wait, can you start from the beginning? What happened here? If it involves another child. But even like with like education across the board, when I look and notice that I pay attention to the curves of the school. So I noticed that the district's average for the kids, because we have like, I don't know, let's just say 20 some elementary schools. I was looking at the district average for the test results in the different, like, here's your math, your reading, and your writing. And I noticed that Jack's was above the district average, but I said to myself, well, what if the district average is shit though? Like being above the district average, to me, I need to know what the district average is, and then how does that compare against the other districts? Because it's all with relevant. It's everything context. Like, great. So my kid's averagely shitty because we're districtly shitty, And so I'm like over here, like, well, I want the whole picture here. So with a situation with another kid, and then I would ask my child, hey, what happened? And I get it. Not everybody's going to be friends. You don't have to be friends. That's how you teach people. You don't have to be friends with everybody. Okay. You just stay away from them. Okay. If that person isn't your cup of tea, you don't go and have tea with them. Okay. You go and you have tea with your friends who you like. My sister lives in Pittsburgh. Are you close to PA, Lana? I have driven through. Oh yeah, we're not that far. Yeah, don't drink with them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Aww. Love you, Lana. Mom's gotta go and get ready for my baby to go to sleep at 4. Please pray for me. Heart is broken 13 good years. Oh my God. Wait, what happened? Oh no. Your pup? Your animal? Oh, that sucks. Deborah, I'm so sorry. That's truly unfortunate there, Noel, because more parents, I'm telling you, is just do things with them. Sometimes talking isn't even needed. Just be with them and do things with them. I always use term like play with them, or whatever, but just do things with them. That's what they remember. At least that's what I remember growing up, like all the things that I did with my family. Or a woman says just don't have kids. Kids totally come first and everything. That's why I'm telling you guys, in the nighttime sometimes, if I don't literally have a live and it's scheduled though, and I'm supposed to have one, I'm telling you, 9.9% out of 10, the reason is falling because it's I'm choosing to spend that time with the man of the house, the little babes. Or the other 0.1% 0.01% is, oh my God, I totally forgot I said alive. So there you go. That's my scale right there. But thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. And hey, I have no idea if Brian Cover is innocent, guilty. This has nothing to do with that. To me, we don't know that. We don't know. This has to do with the process. This has to do with fairness. This has to do with our rights, transparency. This has to do with the truth. And I'm just sick and tired of seeing people in mainstream media have these articles that they are wrong. They're flat out wrong. And it's detrimental. Like, when can we ever read an article where you're holding people accountable in an article that would talk negatively about, do you ever see them talking negatively about the state or, cities? No, they need hardcore proof. Like, you have to have a video of somebody like royally getting their ass beat by like a cop, or at that town hall meeting when that girl was getting like drug out of there. Nobody would have covered that if we didn't have that on film. So, but thank you guys so much. Peace out. Appreciate you. And thank you again for all the super chats, stickers, moderators. Appreciate you. Good day, and I will see you guys later.